Don't you think that's where the expertise of the technical crew comes in? That when you have an influential player and is missing, you start looking for options. You want to pick up another player that will, get into it.
Sometimes you play down to the level of the opponent. I want to believe, I hope that is what happened when we played Central Africa.
Okay.
You understand me? I didn't see the adjustments that needed to be made to cover up for what Diogo brings to the team. I saw only one player, that Olaseni Lawal, who was athletic enough to be able to make an impact. But you have Alade Aminu, Olaseni Lawal, every one of those forwards, they face the basket. None of them plays with their back to the basket. Back to the basket means post play. You understand me? Now, Diogo has brought that very well. Last year, we had another player that backed him up and who could do that very well, Gani Lawal. He was a beast in the paint. You understand me? Now we don't really have that beast in the paint. But we can do well running in transition and we can have that. But Afro-basket and international basketball, you can't really go very far unless you have that beast in the paint, who is a rim protector, who can score if all else fails. Dump the ball in the paint
Just
for
give
him.
it to him.
He'll make something happen. We don't have that on this team. That's what frightens me. And that's why I pray fervently every hour since I learned of the injury that Diogo, God will work a miracle and Diogo will come back.
Can we quickly take a look at the roster for the D Tigers, because he's mentioning some names that are actually not here. We'll just take a look at the names that are here. You have a Ben Uzo, who happens to be a point guard. You have a Michael Umen, a guard. Ike Diogo, of course, the center forward, who is not here right now. Al Farid Aminu, forward. They also have a Jamino Olas Sewere, you talked about the small forward. Chamberlain Oguchi, of course, he was actually fantastic in the game. Stan Okoye, small forward. Andy Ogide, small forward. Olaseni Lawal, talked about him also. Olasheni Lawal, a center. Alade Aminu, a center. Olumide Oyedeji, of course, you haven't mentioned him since. And Michael Benije also coming into the fray of the players. Now, which of these teams, I mean, with Ike Diogo, which of these players can actually fit in that position? None.
None. The closest thing you have, and this is a question of if you were to make a sandwich, what would you use in place of bread? It's a tough one.
Yes.
You understand me?
Okay, let's do it. I'll use
No, you see, the problem is this. These are all competent players in their own right. They do something different, which are all essential and crucial for this team. But what we're missing when we lost Gani Lawal and when we lost Ike Diogo is we had no potent low post threat.
Okay.
You see, all those 3-pointers and shots will dry up in an instant. Once teams wise up to the point that this is a donut team. A donut team in basketball is soft in the middle. Nothing.
Okay.
You understand
hole
me?
in there.
So they will close out on all those things and take it away. That's why every team needs a low post threat. Now, at the best, I would say we should start exploring getting Olaseni Lawal for that role. Otherwise, we can change it and look for another matchup at another position, maybe a 3-player or a 2-player. You understand me? That is bigger than the opposition, stronger, and has low post moves. And then we structure the team around that. But it's a deep problem with the Nigerian team right now, which somebody has to resolve.
Okay, now Angola.
Oyedeji. We'll come to Angola. We'll just try and understand this dominance. But what does Olumide Oyedeji bring to the team?
He brings a lot. Last AfroBasket, when he made the team, there was a lot of questions about age. I answered those criticisms by pointing out that, look, they are older people. Edward Domingos, who plays for Angola, has been playing for Angola since I was an infant. And he's still playing. He's still their star player. Now, you understand me? And it's not that Olumide Oyedeji is too old for the game, but we just have the wrong expectations about what we want from him. At his prime, at the peak of his abilities, he was not an offensive player. He was a pure role player. You understand me? Not put 10 things in front of him, just one thing.
And he does it.
He has a nose for the rebound, That's what he does. You know, go there, get the rebound. Now, when you start introducing and you have to score and you have to, then you mess up the whole thing. He's still competent for that. And every team needs a veteran. Even look at all the NBA teams. A veteran produces, it provides great locker room presence. That's the guy who doesn't play more than 2 minutes, but taps you on the back, and when you miss a layup and says, hey, don't worry, let's do it again. Do it again. That's the guy that does that. You understand me? That's why every team in the NBA has a veteran.
Cecilia, let's go.
Let's go.
Austin, the veteran now, right?
Attack.
What are you feeling like a veteran right now? Now, looking at Angola, I mean, they've been the most successful team when it comes to FIBA Africa Championship. They won the tournament 11 times. What's the thing behind this Angola?
What makes them tick?
Again, I wrote this in my review. You know, I'm not plugging for free advert space, you know, but I just mentioned that because I write it there and it's public. Everybody has a secret to success. Angola's secret to success is consistency and planning. You understand me? They plan better than anybody else on the African continent. They are more consistent. Third factor, they have a local league. You understand me? Which is well developed and vibrant. That local league is also well funded. So now, as far back as 3-4 years ago, you had people like Miguel Lutonda turning down European contracts to play at home. Because at that time, Lutonda was making $250,000 in Angola. You understand? Imagine making $250 here, and you can still get your mom to bring you soup at the weekend and not spend all the money.
You might even be staying in a free house. I mean, you don't get to pay a house rent.
You know, so you see, so you have to have a local league. You understand me? That can make your players stop going to play abroad for $2,000. You understand me? And stay here. And then that local league has to have a large number of games, not 14 games a season. It's got to go into the 40s and 50s. You understand me? Basketball, like everything else you do, is a game of habits. You have to form the right habits. You can't form the right habits by practicing your craft once in a while.
Let's quickly talk about our league. We've just mentioned Angola now, and everything is as a result of a good league
vibrant
system.
league at home.
Premier Augustus, we cannot talk about their dominance in Africa. Quickly, what's your take on the local league in Nigeria?
Completely inadequate. My words are chosen carefully. You know, completely inadequate.
I've written that down.
Yes, sir. Of course, you're next going to ask me for a definition of what that means.
Yeah, why did it completely inadequate?
Some of the reasons I've already advanced. You understand me? Now, every aspect, every facet of the league needs to be restructured. You must not be happy with mediocrity. You understand me? I complained about Division 1 last year, for example. You pack 6 teams somewhere for 6 days. You understand me? They play 4 or 5 games. You understand me? And then somebody emerges as Division 1 and is promoted to the league. How can any human being play 6 games once every year in 1 week? And then that makes him a player. It's the same story with the league. You have to get more games in. You have to get more funding in. Maybe the sponsors don't like what they're seeing. So which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Okay.
You understand me? Do you build a product that the sponsors will like first so they can come? Or do you wait for the sponsors first before building a product?
So many questions.
You definitely want to do that first.
Bakari, we must thank you so much for coming around. But this is part 1 of this interview because there's still so much to talk about. After the game with Tunisia, we bring him back. Let's see where Nigeria will
going to be a very tough one.
You have not asked me where I will be. I'm on my way to Tunisia.
I was going to ask if you're going to go to that.
You will come
We'll definitely get in touch with you. Yeah,
we'll get you talking.
You know,
this is part
actually to confess. You understand me? My trip to Tunisia is beginning to be questionable, and I'll tell you why. My trip to Tunisia, I feel like the father or the engineer who designed a wonderful spacecraft but never got to fly it.
Yeah.
You understand me? So my trip to Tunisia was to be around and savor the glory of a team. That is the house that Jack built.
Okay.
You understand me? I wanted to be around to savor that. But now, you understand me, it's some people don't seem to quite understand that and are worried about my influence.
I don't want you to get emotional.
Yeah, let's go into that.
But we'll keep you here. Let's just quickly wrap this up, guys. I wish we could just go on with this.
Okay.
Let's leave it and just quickly run through the
Champions
League playoff.
Cecilia was looking forward to that.
We will just talk about it briefly.
Go through it.
We were looking forward to Valencia,
Monaco. Of course, Valencia, of course, definitely have to take the day because that's actually the bigger team. 3-1. It ended in that one. And another one I was also looking forward to was Celtic and Malmo, the team from Sweden. But you have F.A. Ambrose. I was looking forward to the fact that he might just play full game, but he had to come in after a player was injured 80th minute. And of course, with Celtic, they won the game 3-2. But that 3-2, that was pretty close. So I don't know what they're taking to Sweden. If they could be able to get into the group stage, I believe that would be very, very difficult for them.
We also saw FC Basel drawing with Maccabi Tel Aviv from Israel by 2 goals. That's 2-2. So it's looking interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah. Home victories, most of the games were home victories, so perhaps that means that they would definitely get the job done in the second leg. You have the results there showing on the screens right now. Guys, we really have to go now.
Thank you so much for being part of the program. We're definitely going to leave you with visuals coming from Cincinnati Masters, where Djokovic and, of course, Stan Wawrinka, Stan Wawrinka, they were actually in awesome form. For Stan Wawrinka, even had to react to what happened the last time against Nick Kyrgios. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I'm yours truly, Ayotunde Balogun.
I love it when we talk basketball. Let's keep talking sports. I'm Austin Okonakpan. Bye for now.